Hi, it's Amy. Welcome to Strength Reversed. Today, I wanted to share with you my cards of the year for 2021 and talk a little bit about what they mean to me. Now, I've been putting off this video and procrastinating a little bit because I have a lot of ideas about these cards. Have been a lot of synchronicities as the year has started. So last year I was having a temperance year, and I chose my card of the year in 2020 just because at the end of 2019 this card kept catching my attention, and it kept coming up in daily draws and in different readings. And so I just went with that, and it was, I think, the right choice. This year, I chose my card of the year a little differently. So I watched a video by Practical Mystic Carol, and I will, of course, link that video below. And she talked about how to choose your cards of the year. Now, 2021, of course, if you add up 2021, it adds up to 5. So that makes 2021 in general a Hierophant kind of year. And if you add up your birthday, so the month and the day, and then the current year, you have your birth card, which is your month, day, and year of your birth. But if you do your month, day, and the current year, that is your card for the year. And mine is November 20th. So 11/20/2021 adds up to 9, and that is the Hermit. Now, in Carol's video, her birthday happens to be the same month and day as mine, and so the example that she used was done for me, which was very convenient. And she did send me the worksheets, so thank you, Carol, if you're watching. And if you email her, watch the video and email her, she will send you the worksheets too. And I love a good worksheet. One thing she did mention, though, is that if you are born in October, November, or December, you're kind of in a lag, and the astrological year is not complete for you for a while. So for the first part of 2021, I'm still in the previous card, which would be Strength. Now, Strength has, of course, the Strength card has a special meaning for me, especially if it's reversed, and that's the name of my channel. But I will talk more about Strength in a moment. I got to thinking, there are so many 8s and 9s that came up for me at the beginning of this year, but I really want to take a look at that. But I started thinking about the difference between the Hierophant and the Hermit, and I might get more in depth in a tarot spiral video if I make one of those for my series where I try to dive deeper into the cards. And what I wrote down for Hierophant was religion, outer authority, mediator or intermediary, and spokesperson. And for the Hermit, I wrote down, instead of religion, spirit, and instead of mediator, or instead of outer authority, inner authority, and instead of mediator, this is a direct connection. And, the Hierophant, I started writing down, this person has some sort of specific knowledge that makes them an authority. So they can give you a prescription or a lesson, they can give a sermon, or they can tell you the rules of how to live or how things work. And then as I thought about it, I thought, well, that's probably why this card can represent a doctor or lawyer or teacher or a priest, because it's very prescriptive. It's kind of all about some other knowledge outside of you coming in. And the Hermit is the opposite. The Hermit can take that knowledge that they get from the outside and transform it a little. And the Hermit does the work. So it's one thing to go to church and hear a sermon, but it's another thing to really think about that and do the work and make changes to live the kind of life that you want to live. So I think the the Hermit is all about inner authority and facing some things and making some changes. Now, I think 2021, I'm kind of glad that it's a Hierophant year, because I think 2021, if we're going to recover from 2020, needs to be like a rule following year. I don't think it's the year to go rogue or anything. I think this needs to be like, not get ahead of ourselves, follow the rules, listen to the science, do what we're supposed to do. And anyway, for me, anyway, that's what I get out of that. I think there are 6 pages. I'm not going to read it all, but I just wanted to get my mind right before I made the video. So strength to me was, as the tail end of 2020 and my card that could have been for 2020, I think was a foundation card. This really laid a foundation for me. So I think for me, 2020 taught me to kind of take things as they come and roll with the punches and just make the most out of kind of a crappy situation. And there were crappy situations all around. Our family situation was, we couldn't have Christmas together or Thanksgiving together, or, couldn't travel and couldn't really socialize. And my work situation is a cluster because I'm having to teach in a completely different way, which is good because it's really stretched me and my abilities, but it's also like I'm fucking tired of it. This strength card for me, especially reversed, which magnifies it, is a lifelong lesson of having to give up control and having to trust life, which I kind of was born feeling like life is difficult and scary. And so I'm having to process that. And also loving myself. I'm an only child, so I'm like firstborn to the next level, and I'm very hard on myself. And I've had to really learn to love some of the parts of those savage parts of myself, and not completely tear myself to shreds. Now, one card that has come up a lot for me this year, and doggone it, here it is, was the 8 of Cups. So another 8. And the 8 of Cups I have always thought of as the adulting card. But if you look, I thought this is kind of the Hermit beginning his journey. And, the 8 of Cups leaves behind things that are important, things that are meaningful to him, and takes his staff and kind of heads toward the mountains and takes on some challenges or faces some difficulties that he knows he needs to face in order to make himself a better person. And I think that's what this card is all about. Leaving something that's comfortable and that is safe, and opening yourself up to challenges and kind of, accepting that, facing the moon and facing intuition. Whenever there's a moon in a card and the person is not looking at the moon, I feel like they're almost turning their back on that part of their power. And I think the 8 of Cups is like the beginning of the Hermit's journey. Then I was thinking about the Hermit. And immediately what comes to me is like inner work or reflection or solitude, but not isolation. So the first thing I thought was, haven't I just had a Hermit year? Haven't we all just had a Hermit year? But I think the more I thought about it, the more I went beyond that very surfacey meaning. But when I looked at this, I thought, you know what? Here's that guy or person, doesn't have to be a guy, just starting off, and he's reached now the top of that mountain. And of course I read up on the Hermit, and he has his staff or wand that the Fool has, but he's using it to lean on. So all of that energy that he has that the Fool just takes for granted and doesn't really think means anything, and thinks that he'll always have it, or doesn't know how to use it or what to do with it, he knows. So this is the wisdom of facing some things. In the lantern, there is a 6-pointed stars, which is made up of an inverted triangle, which is the symbol for water, and an upright triangle, which is the symbol for fire. So this is like the inner and the outer worlds combined and illuminated. And this illumination, now in my Robin Wood deck, the light kind of emanates out really far, but I was reading in a lot of decks, like this one, the light doesn't go far because it's just about his own personal wisdom. And what has come up for me even before I picked my cards of the year is personal authority. This year is the year I really want to step into my personal power. And, this lifelong need, it's not even, I don't think I have a need to please people. Because I'm kind of more of a like kiss my grits kind of person, but I feel like I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that I didn't have siblings. I was always sort of checking myself against other people. Am I doing it right? Is that what they're doing? Is this okay? Is this okay for me to do? Almost needing permission. And I think this is the year where I really, even now at my age, I still feel like I have to do it the way that's okay. That almost like, oh, okay, I can do this because other people are doing it. And that is something that I really want to stop. Last year, the Temperance card was about, alchemy and taking all parts of myself and combining them together, all of the elements of me, and balancing them in a way that they could combine together and create something bigger and better. It's like more than the sum of its parts. And now the Hermit does that. So I think learning to do that in 2020, having to be balanced and having to take things in stride, it's been this foundational year, or it's created this platform. And I don't think that I'm embodying the Hermit yet. I think that after this year, I might get to this point. Something else that has come up for me, kind of a secondary card this year, is the Star card, and in the Light Seers deck specifically. It has come up repeatedly, upright and reversed. And I think this card is, I love the Star card in this deck. She's like lassoing all this energy and this magic and this, she's connected to something you really can't hold, but somehow she lassoed it. And I think this is about really being called to connect with the magic of this card. And it's the 17, which 1 + 7 is 8. So it's another version of 8 energy. This card frightens me, especially when it's reversed, because I think what's been coming up for me around personal authority is keeping myself small. And I'm realizing that this year, what this Hermit card has brought up for me so far is, and this card too, the Star, that this is the year that I have to go big. I can't keep myself small anymore. I have to jump. So this is my mindset of 2021 is the idea of being my own authority and not keeping myself small, going big, taking the chances, taking the risks, being open to jolting the status quo and not, you know, rocking the boat a little and not having to feel safe all the time. Yesterday, when I did the gratitude challenge, the card that came up for me for January 1st was the Nine of Pentacles, which is a very good gratitude card, and being grateful for all of the health and having enough. And someone, Dancing Soul Sister, commented on this nine, another nine, to start off the year, and said, oh, this is the Lady Hermit, who is, you know, enjoying her environment that she's created. And it's not just in the physical world that she's created it, but she's created it at a soul level too. And that just really dinged, really clicked with me. It you know, there was a charge when she said that, because I thought, yes, this is the Lady Hermit. She's kind of cloistered. Maybe she's a nun. I don't know. But I think I'm terrified. As the new year turned, I started getting this feeling of dread, because, you know, nothing magical happened at the turn of the new year. You know, I think everyone's mindset was, after 2020, we just get through 2020 and then something's going to change. And of course, it's not magically changing. And once 2020 ended, it was almost depressing that things, you know, we could blame it on 2020 while it was 2020. But now it's the next year, and, you know, I'm kind of, there's this sense of dread for this year. And I'm feeling a lot of anxiety and fear coming up. So after this foundation of 2020 has been set up for me, and I'm heading toward embodying the Hermit, I feel like I'm standing on the edge of this cliff. Like, not as the fool in a not mindful way who's there accidentally because he's not paying attention and he doesn't care anyway. I feel like I'm at a high dive and my toes are on the edge. That's the feeling I'm getting. Like, I've got to jump. I can't just stay where it's comfortable and safe. I've got to go big. So, you know, I'm at the edge of a precipice, and, okay. So with that in mind, I'm going to also link a video that's a little mini, like, documentary short, and it's called 10 Meter Tower. If you've seen it, then you know what I'm talking about. But this is how I'm feeling this year. I saw this, ages ago, and I put it in my watch later, and I was checking in there today for something else and thought, oh my gosh, yes, I saw this video. That's exactly how I feel. So I will link this. Now, it's put out by it wasn't made by the New York Times. I think the New York Times is trash, but anyway, I don't think this video is. I really like this video, and it's how I'm feeling right now at the beginning of 2021. Anyway. So that is my mindset for 2021. Go big, jump, inner authority, personal authority, and yes. We'll see how this goes. I'm glad that you guys are here to witness this, or maybe pick me up off of the sidewalk. Okay, bye guys.